Once, Damian Sterling, the billionaire CEO and obsessive alpha male, found his legs paralyzed in a devastating accident. Overnight, the proud heir to a vast empire tumbled into despair, betrayed by those closest to him. His illegitimate brother seized his position, and friends turned their backs. Avery Sinclair, who had harbored deep feelings for him for years, saw her chance and stepped in, determined to claim her place in his dark romance world. Damian mocked himself bitterly, acknowledging his ruined state, but Avery gazed at his legs with indifference, knowing his true power lay elsewhere, untouched by the tragedy. That night, the usually restrained Damian pulled her onto his lap in the dimly lit hospital room, his possessive husband instincts stirring as he whispered about her rumored skills. Though she shook her head wildly, denying it, her waist aching from the tension. Avery, carrying flowers, paused at the hospital door. Damian sat on the bed, his lean back trembling slightly as he reached for water on the table, only for the cup to slip and shatter on the floor, the sound piercing the quiet room like a sharp cry. He hung his head, fingers curling into the wrinkled sheets, his once arrogant aura now shrouded in gloom and depression, like a lone trapped beast in the sterile white space. It made Avery's eyes sting with unshed tears. Suppressing her emotions, she knocked and entered. Damian turned, his pale face and reddened eyes stabbing at her heart. Surprise flickered in his gaze, mixed with emotions she couldn't decipher. His voice rasped dryly as he questioned her presence. Avery strode forward with a forced smile, teasing about coming to gloat over the fallen star, now ignored despite past vows of eternal love from admirers. Her words cut deep, but Damian didn't rage. He listened in silence to her relentless mockery. He summoned a nurse to clean the shards, watching as Avery discarded wilted flowers from the vase, washed it clean, and arranged fresh blooms. Surveying the empty room, she remarked on his pitiful state, no one to care for him. Damian explained it was lunchtime, implying his attendant was on break. Undeterred, Avery pulled up a chair, locking eyes with him. The redness in his gaze faded as she stared from his hair down to his legs. Her lingering look prompted him to admit flatly that they were ruined, confining him to a wheelchair forever, his tone eerily calm, as if nights of torment had forged this acceptance. Avery's lowered eyes lifted, tears spilling silently. Her mask of sarcasm crumbled. Damian's gaze softened, his lips parting to murmur why she cried when he wasn't dead yet. Overwhelmed, she flung herself onto him, hugging tightly, sobs breaking free. Damian didn't push her away. His hands hung limp, fists clenched at his sides. 5 years earlier, when Avery left the country, she had hugged him in farewell, a gesture of pity. His chest had been broad and warm then, now it felt cold and hollow. Emerging from the bathroom after wiping her tears, Avery proposed marriage abruptly. Damian's gaze snapped from the window to her. She pressed on, pointing out his abandonment by the family, who wished him buried in the mud forever. Rumors swirled of his disinheritance, his mother's jewels claimed by his father's mistress, his vain girlfriend fleeing to engage with his so-called brother in mere weeks. Her words froze Damian's eyes into ice. She declared boldly that allying with her was his only card to protect himself. Staring into his eyes, she knew he'd agree. She was his best, most logical choice. Damian closed his eyes, thawing the ice, his dark gaze like a deep pool. He asked what she wanted. Avery stared back, knowing he understood she wanted him, always had. Damian laughed shortly, self-mocking, calling it a losing deal since he was now worthless. She eyed his legs pointedly, retorting that only they were ruined, not his other vital functions. The usually composed Damian's gaze wavered, stunned into silence by her boldness, a flush creeping on his pale skin. He subtly pulled a blanket over himself, blocking her view. This reaction tempted her to tease further, pondering aloud if she should verify. Damian's expression darkened with a wry smile. She grinned shamelessly, reminding him she alone could turn his fortunes. He stared silently for ages. 2 months prior, Damian's car crash had spared his life but doomed his legs to a wheelchair. He was the city's richest heir's legitimate son. Handsome, brilliant, the elite's shining star untouchable. But the accident flipped everything. News of his paralysis shifted alliances. His illegitimate brother ascended, his loving girlfriend deserted him, engaging elsewhere in a month. Friends piled on insults. Overnight, isolation gripped him. Avery rushed back from abroad upon hearing, proposing alliance as both business and selfish desire. Her family's backing would deter opportunists, securing his inheritance. After prolonged silence, Damien agreed, even without feelings, questioning if she'd trade marriage for that. Avery smiled confidently feelings could grow. Damien was a good man. His legs didn't matter. She liked him obsessively, body and soul shaken by love beyond control. Her affection was no secret in their circles. They were childhood friends, but he chose another, prompting her disappearance. She didn't blame him. He'd never encouraged her. 5 years abroad, she thought she'd moved on, but seeing him shattered that illusion. A striking first love lingered forever. He extended a hand for the deal. Avery took it, interlacing fingers instead, grinning as she sealed it. News of their impending marriage tamed the circling predators around Damien. Avery visited daily with flowers, today sunflowers. Damien worked on his laptop from bed, fingers tapping keys, face serene. After arranging the blooms, she stared until he frowned, asking her to stop. She pouted innocently, unable to control herself, suggesting a kiss to cure it. He shot her a knowing glance, lips pursed, ignoring her to focus. She sighed dramatically. The keyboard clicks filled the quiet. She knew he fought fiercely to reclaim his empire, unbroken despite ruin. Damien's blue hospital gown hung loose. He'd thinned, features sharper, collarbone protruding with each breath, a black mole stark on his pale skin, drawing her gaze. As she stared entranced, his elegant hands buttoned up, blocking the view. Avery grumbled about his defenses. She wouldn't pounce in a hospital, though she'd coveted him for years. She hummed dismissively. Abroad, she'd been spoiled, the only girl among 9 brothers and cousins, pampered yet temperamental. Before Damien, she'd blushed easily, obedient. Now she was bolder. She offered cut fruit. He ate little before closing the laptop, rubbing temples wearily. Avery volunteered a massage, but he grabbed her hand, face darkening, sending her downstairs for a beverage. Coffee, oddly, since he preferred tea. Puzzled by changed habits after 5 years, she complied. Forgetting her phone, she returned. The bed curtains were drawn. Panic surged, fearing trouble. Rushing in, she yanked them open, freezing. Her pupils contracted, mind blanking. Bathroom flush sounded. Her eyes fixed on Damien's hands, one steadying himself, the other wiping with tissue, frozen mid-motion. He closed eyes, suppressing rage, throat bobbing, ordering her out in restrained fury. Avery spun, flustered, thoughts chaotic. Brief shame yielded to worry had she wounded his pride. Self-reproaching her impulsiveness, she pondered lightning words. Awkwardly, she blurted something about size, room falling dead silent. In her regret, Damien's voice pierced coldly through the curtain, questioning if she'd seen others for comparison. Stunned, she denied vehemently, claiming general knowledge like seen pigs run without eating pork. Facing the curtain, she insisted he'd been her only glimpse. Silence returned, the exchange odd. A caregiver emerged from the bathroom, breaking tension. Curtains opened, Damien dressed, glancing dismissively. Avery grabbed her phone, muttering about fetching coffee, fleeing. The day before discharge, Avery spotted his ex in the hospital, brushing past unrecognized, stirring 5-year-old pain. Damien was 3 years older. She'd aimed for his university, but his announcement of the other crushed her. Entering the room casually, she noted a fruit basket, asking who visited. Damien dismissed it as an irrelevant subordinate. Lying, Avery realized, frowning inwardly. Irritated, she approached, declaring since marriage loomed, a kiss wasn't excessive. As he looked up, she pecked his cheek. He dodged her aim for lips. Damien flushed angrily, reminding her of the hospital setting. She shrugged roguishly, no one saw, and he was her fiancé anyway. Post-discharge, Damien avoided home, opting for his mother's riverside villa, renovated for wheelchair access. Avery visited daily, leaving evenings. Her brothers forbade overnight stays, Big Brother warning of personal fetching past 8. She laughed it off, but inwardly despaired. Too many brothers were a burden. The villa was a 45-minute drive. She drove herself. Staff knew her well. Her favorite pastime teasing Damien while wheeling him through gardens daily. But she skipped 2 days. 2 days ago, video chatting her bestie at his place. The friend lamented Avery's devotion to a ruined man. Avery smiled she loved him, could afford to care. Bestie questioned post-marriage intimacy. Unfiltered, Avery dismissed concerns. His body was impressive, she'd glimpsed. Her skills sufficed. Bestie teased her boldness. Chatting freely until low battery, Avery turned, freezing Damien in the garden, having overheard, his secretary adjusting glasses awkwardly, Damien's gaze piercing. Blushing furiously, she fled. Today, encountering Damien's aide, the mild-mannered secretary, he greeted warmly. Avery nodded, heading upstairs, but he warned of Damien's foul mood, suggesting delay. Puzzled, she proceeded thoughtfully. Lightning steps, she neared the study where he spent days working. Pausing at the door, Damien wheeled facing the window, gloomy sky outside, room dim, his silhouette like a monochrome portrait, heavy with oppression. About to speak, words choked. Damien gripped armrests, attempting to stand, legs failing, collapsing back. Repeated failures ended in bowed head. Bitter laughter as lightning flashed, thunder roaring, masking but not erasing his stifled agony. Avery at the door wept silently, muffling sobs, backing against the wall. Wheelchair sounds prompted hiding in a guest room. Damien exited to his bedroom, shower ran. Sneaking into the study, chaos greeted scattered papers, shattered cup, rage evident. Eyes scanning, a red wedding invitation caught attention, his ex and betrayer. Computer screen showed a message: excellence couldn't hide disability, unworthy. Instantly, Avery connected. The wedding today, taunts ripping wounds. Damien descended via elevator as she finished a call, lounging on the sofa, waving. In oatmeal loungewear, blanket over legs, face impassive, hiding earlier turmoil. Noticing a cut on his hand, likely from the study, Avery grasped it. He withdrew, downplaying. Heart aching, she feigned ignorance, fetching the med kit despite protests. Half-threatening saliva disinfection, he relented helplessly, expression resigned. She noted shameless teasing made him pliable. Weather warned of typhoon, morning fine, now stormy, winds howling. Damien urged departure. Rain poured as he spoke. Feigning reluctance, she cited danger. He offered a driver. She accused exploitation. Drivers' lives mattered. As fiancé, one night was fine. Voice trailing under his dark stare, they deadlocked. Avery declared stubbornly she wouldn't leave. Damien sighed defeatedly, asking how she'd explain to family. Call home, emphasizing storm risks, portraying Damien gentlemanly. Big Brother snorted, knowingly her scheme obvious, worrying she'd overstep. Avery admitted inwardly her desires. Wearing Damien's pajamas, reaching mid-thigh, legs bare, she paraded. He glanced once, averted, retreating to bedroom. Following, he blocked showering alone. Teasing help, she noted eventual intimacy, having seen him before. Damien's ears reddened, face stern. She backed off, waiting outside, worried despite modifications. Teasing through the door about assisting, water drowned her words. Laughing faded to somberness, recalling steady despair. Heart heavy, hoping his happiness, but unable to voice it. Damien's phone buzzed on the nightstand, his ex calling. Tempted to answer in rage, remembering Damien's support for her poor background, now betrayal. Avery hesitated, fearing anger. Jealousy surged. She, childhood friend, never won his affection. Damien's mom favored Avery, cold to him due to forced marriage. Avery adored young Damien, trailing him. He distanced. Memories flooding, drowsiness hit. She dozed on his bed. Dreaming child Damien pulling her in escape, she falling, ankle hurt, crying in terror. He returned, backing her, gunshot, him taking the bullet. Screaming his name in sleep, heart aching, Damien woke her gently, concerned. Blurring dream reality, she lunged onto his lap, hugging, sobbing he lived. Body stiffening, he patted her back softly, asking about nightmares. Clarifying the old kidnapping, his hand paused, murmuring it passed. Pleading fear to stay, promising good behavior, he refused bed sharing but allowed floor. Quickly laying blankets, lights off, fearing regret. Staring ceiling, insomnia struck. She chatted, he hushed. Scrolling phone stealthily half hour, then knelt bedside, tracing his sleeping features, handsome lashes, nose, lips. Muttering he'd forget the bad woman, focus on her. She liked him immensely. Warning she'd kiss if unresponsive, breath held, heart pounding, she pecked lightly, retreating under covers, sleeping sweetly. Unbeknownst, Damien's eyes opened in darkness. Nearly 6 months later, Damien busied reclaiming his throne at the family group, thinning again despite regained flesh. Avery ached, supervising meals, curbing late nights. His path demanded self-reliance. He succeeded ruthlessly, ousting his brother, neutering his father, cowing relatives. Now he ruled. During a wedding invite arrived betrayer, and ex-Avery expected discard. He kept it. Jealous, she quipped about crashing. Damien denied coldly no ties left, but he'd attend the spectacle. Observing, she doubted his detachment. The ex was her thorn, stealing Damien's attention, basking in his goodness, abandoning it low. The wedding gathered elites. Damien's wheelchair entrance commanded focus, aura fiercer. Past stone throwers quaked, groveling apologies. He smiled coldly. New couple toasting, groom gloated thanks for yielding. Avery snapped back thanks due for exposing ingrates. Groom darkened, sniping Avery's opportunism, pitying Damien's loveless marriage. Words stung, Avery's fist clenched. Damien grasped it, declaring marrying her his fortune, warning outsiders off their bond, tone icy. Avery gazed at him, touched yet sour. Indeed, she'd inserted opportunely. Grooms retort old quarrels like teens. Ex mediated gracefully, toasting Damien, who declined, claiming sobriety. Ex smiled, moving on, whispering to Avery her wish granted. Light words hit sensitivities, irking. At banquet, Avery chatted with a broad classmate, mixed race, kiss hand greeting. They talked long until Damien called, tone even but chill done? Sensing jealousy, she imagined his stare, bidding farewell hastily. Ride home, Damien brooding. Avery attributed to newlyweds, silent. Home, he demanded hand-washing. Post-wash, he wiped meticulously with handkerchief. Protesting cleanliness, he insisted dirty. Rubbing reddened, Avery puzzled, then realized the kiss hand. Excited, probing jealousy. He paused, denying. Grinning, she offered her hand for his kiss. Staring seconds, he pushed gently, still dirty, but mood lighter. 10 days later, Avery's 24th birthday. First home in 5 years. Brothers planned celebration. Big brother pulled her aside, Damien secretly acquiring rival families' shares. Family old money declining, surface glamour hid rot. Damien's moves covert. Big brother unearthed traces, questioning motives, business or personal, tied to ex. Implying lingering feelings, given groom's insults, ex's theft. Avery's eyes dimmed, big brother ruffled hair, reminding her promised love but retained self. Admiring Damien, yet no sister marrying disabled. Stern, Avery whispered brother, knowing she'd lied family opposed marriage, verbal ploy for support, time limited. No real transaction intended. She wanted his freedom, joy, love. Hoping reciprocation for defying family. But did he like her? At Damien's villa, spotting ex, Avery thought hallucination. Ex questioned if he'd truly marry Avery. Damien warned coldly, none of her business. Ex laughed he never intended, using Avery unknowingly, who adored him blindly. Damien raged, shut up. Ex softened his partners, deserved better treatment. Post-swallowing rival family, don't forget promised rewards. Ex left. Avery hid in greenhouse, staring grass. Damien never planned marriage, used her. Self-mocking mutual deception, their pact a concealed lie. Pathetic. Plucking rotten fruit, tears fell. Big brother's intel ex aiding Damien against her own husband? Why? Perhaps no true betrayal, marriage linked to plot? Terrifying implications, Avery fled. 2 days post-birthday, Avery confronted Damien, drunk for courage, a grand act planned. Luring him to hotel, drugging, she claimed him. Days prior, anguish built to rage stifled, used despite aid. Worse, ongoing ex-contact. Vengeful urge sleep with him as payback. Straddling, stripping him, unbuckling belt. He gripped her hand, eyes red from drug, voice husky, restrained knew what she did? Slapping hand away, she bound as with tie, snarling to stay still. Damien gritted bold now. Mocking his fumbling, she slapped abdomen soon feel her prowess. He laughed angrily. Inexperienced theory from cramming videos, texts, disgusting visuals skipped. Hands shook, actions clumsy. Damien endured, eyes reddening, body reacting honestly at her kiss on collarbone mole. Later, coaxing untie, she refused last sanity. That night, she devoured him thoroughly. Bliss? Pain dominated, but heart satisfied. Leaving, note overheard you and X. No marriage intent anyway. Aid repaid by this night, could buy forever. Technique poor, too prolonged bad review. Damien had bodyguards, watched for summoning, but didn't. He allowed it. Unwilling to ponder, Avery ended still wished him well, liked him but vanished. Even devoted had pride. 3 years later, a broad street, Avery spotted X tubbed by foreign man. Ignoring initially but slap and drag to alley, cries for help. Friends with her, 3 guys, prompted rescue despite loathing. Not to death watch level, no bottom line breach. Post-rescue fleeing. X called shock chat about Damien? Name tugged nerves, legs halted unwillingly. Cursing inwardly she turned. Coffee shop face off. X sipped, musing fate's wonder. Avery snapped no chit-chat rapport. Focus on Damien. X smiled gently despite aversion why save then? Avery stared loathed betrayal. Abandoning at ruin, pairing with brother, selfish ingrate. Saved as woman with power, unwilling to watch assault. X gazed complexly envied Avery's everything. Kindness from security. You overlook disability with backing. Avery retorted even without you'd abandon. Innate selfishness, profit-driven. X silent, then chuckled truth time, reciprocity for aid. Secret never lovers with Damien, employment, partnership. Innocent, untouched, tried real but denied. Sought real status elsewhere. Shocked, Avery doubted why aid against own husband, who gave title. X sneered hatefully family filthy swamp, deserved doom. Fingers tightened. Avery frowned, not probing. X withheld why fake relationship asked Damien. Covered coffee, thanks. Avery blocked, deleted Damien, changed number. Returned home sporadically, avoiding him. News tracked group sort under him, pinnacle, mysterious, no photos. X chat haunted briefly. Joy at no romance, like bonus. But sorrow, anger preferred facade over her. Despite sacrifices, unmoved. Fact he disliked her. Dismissing, she lived on. Invited to mixer party, dressed up, vowing pursue appealing guys. Forget Damien via new romance. Bar venue, danced with handsome actors, exchanged numbers. Blonde guy aggressive, tall, handsome, eloquent. Impressed, group outings followed. Today he offered ride home, accepted. Parting downstairs, sudden cheek kiss, startled, undodged. Sternly no intimacies without consent. Apologetic attitude good, forgiven smiling. Keying door, footsteps behind, before turning blackout. Waking hands bound, eyes blindfolded. Struggling futile. Chilling presence watching silently. Suppressing fear who why? Money offerable. Silence. Fabric rustle, cool fingers tracing face, lips downward. Trembling, crying, hand withdrew, sobs intensified. Blindfold yanked, eyes adjusted from dark. Tears halted, staring bedside figure Damien, 3 years unseen. Taller, colder, aura oppressive, standing. Gaze locked on legs. He greeted coldly long time Avery. Snapping back, struggling mad? Why bind? Leaning, shadowing her, he wiped tears, then left cheek roughly, aching. Dodging, chin gripped back. Whining pain, his eyes black, sinking, intimidating. He accused slept with him, then pursued others? Thought escapable? Played him. Biting like she was heartbreaker. 3-year night, buried memory resurfaced. Angry, guilty. Retorting used her despite help. Owed her that night. Muttered poor experience. Damien stilled, aura dropping. Uneasy peak, he untied silently. Freed, she scooted away. Gaze stormy, impending. Loosening tie single-handed, unbuttoning shirt, exposing toned torso sleep again. He'd served till satisfied. Mouth's curse realized that night. Damien dominant, ruthless, occasional tenderness torturous. Repeated satisfaction queries. Sobbing yes, he kissed, dragging deeper. Exhausted near faint, he pulled her onto lap, teasing her skills denial. Shaking no pore. He chuckled liar, recalled her racing awards, photos sent. Coaxing last then sleep. Proved men's deceit. Once blush-prone, now shameless. Accused contract breach, promised marriage, fled post-sleep. Demanded responsibility. Speechless. Over breakfast, elegant, she questioned disliked her. Now fun tease? He paused, serious no dislike. Scoffing bitterly 3 years ago, no marriage intent. Sarcastic one night sparked love? Leading to study, hand in hand, heart racing. He presented file seen by your brother? Shocked, tense, urged open. Read overwhelming betrothal gifts, sincere. Staring her teary eyes, he kissed never unwilling, knew unworthy. Realized her family deception. Wouldn't wed pearl to cripple. Eyes wide thought hidden, he knew all. Her wet puppy eyes softened him. Thumb caressed face. Mentioned ex-meeting, chat known. Outrage tracked. Admitted years abroad, guards for safety worry. Unnoticed surveillance, all known. Timed appearance at her dating start. Guilty aversion. Asking fake romance brief, avoided troubles, rejected suitors, skipped setups. Never touched, employment only. Sour including me? Chased hardest. Pouting unhappy. He smiled tenderly, unexpected love from loveless parents. Your steadfastness at my lowest warmed me. Greedy for your love, jealous of others. Possession beyond control. But crippled then. Eyes reddening, heart bittersweet. He knew liked her. For standing before her, proposing to family, matching 3 years therapy. Gazing legs, recalling pains witnessed. Aching yet joyful, hugging, rubbing. Dreamlike, wanted Mary now. He stroked hair yes. Sinking embrace, pushed suddenly wait, saw your study breakdown. Ex-wedding day. Stunned, pondered unrelated to her. Your brother confronted. Helped for you, but bluntly unworthy cripple. Gaze dim new, still stung. Unresigned, accepted truth. Recalling message assumed groom's taunt. Actually brothers, net name, no label. His gaze tender now stand before you. Elated, tiptoeing kiss, breathing heavied. Sensing heat, face flushed, hand under hem, shrinking. Refusing waist hurts. Hugging to bedroom, straight-faced I'll kiss lightly. 3 years turned rogue. Drooping eyes, lip curved learned from you. Back home. No villa with Damien week-long. Till big brother's furious call home now. Anxious, he amused accompany you. Worried feel fire? At door, hands laced afraid brothers? Soft laugh no with you. Smiling I'll protect. Doorbell, brothers cold stop loitering in. Glancing, swinging hands let's go home. Today, wedding date set.